Thanks for having me here, and thanks already to the local organizers for doing a great job in putting together this event for the next 2 days, and actually picking such a nice place for it. And I think it's going to be quite inspiring, actually, to have discussions here. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of the European Commission and the colleagues in the JRC, in DG Environment, and also the colleagues in the European Environment Agency, who are together with us coordinating the implementation of Inspire in the member states. Next slide. Technology. There we go. Pressed the wrong button. Okay, so you may wonder where it all started. You recognize this? This was last year, about 1 year ago, a bit more than 1 year ago, in Antwerp. We had the annual Inspire conference there, and we had discussion during the week, and it became clear actually during the week that there would not be a conventional, normal Inspire conference in 2019, but only in spring 2020 in Dubrovnik in Croatia. So there was some concern among participants, member states. Many of you basically said, well, if we have a gap, it's going to really send a message that Inspire is no longer important. We need to really keep the momentum going. We're really entering into a crucial phase in the implementation, and we need to actually have something next year. So we thought, okay, who will have the presidency in autumn next year? And it was Finland. And by chance, there was never an Inspire event in Finland. So we thought, okay, let's talk to our Finnish colleagues to see if they would be willing to put something together. And during the week, actually, there was quite some enthusiasm, and they quickly actually said, yes, I think we can do something. So they volunteered, and basically, that's why we are here. However, it's clear that within 1 year, it's really difficult to put together an event like the Inspire conference. So we said, okay, let's make that not a problem, but let's make that an opportunity. Let's do something different. So let's not do a conventional Inspire conference. We said, okay, we'll have a smaller event, more easy to organize, because getting a big auditorium costs a lot of money, and it's difficult to organize. So let's get a small event. Let's focus on technical things. Let's focus on practical things. Let's have discussions. Let's have hands-on work. And that's basically what we're going to see during the next 2 days. So I really encourage you to think out of the box, to not think this is a normal Inspire conference, but this is something different. It could be considered to be the first user conference maybe of Inspire, because we're going to talk a lot about how to actually use the data that is becoming more and more available. So where are we with Inspire? Some of you have been together with us last week in Prague at the MICT meeting, and you can see some of you here, where we had quite a good meeting. We had quite intensive discussions on a number of interesting topics, but it basically shows that we basically have come a long way. So there's more and more data is actually becoming available in the infrastructure. More and more things can be downloaded through the Inspire GeoPortal. There's more and more visibility through that, let's say, shopping window on what is actually available in the member states, and where maybe also we're still having problems. So we still see that basically there's some issues with usability. So some of you that are developing applications, that are developing tools, that have been involved in the challenges, you will well know what I'm talking about, because it's not all that straightforward, even though we've made a big progress already. So I think, let's say, we're on a critical moment at the moment where we have achieved quite a lot of things so far, but there's still a lot of work to be done. One other thing that we saw last week is that there's a lot of interest in moving out of the geospatial box, as we already heard, to use new technology, to use more mainstream IT technology, to make our data available to, let's say, the wider world, to e-government, to digital government, and Robert and I have been yesterday at the SEMIC conference here, part of the Finnish presidency, that is basically talking about semantic interoperability in the public sector in general, and we've basically seen a lot of the same discussions that we're also having in Inspire. But it's clear that basically we have to move out of our geospatial bubble. We have a lot to offer, but we also have to basically get out and tell other people about the work that we've done and the data and the information that is available. So what about users? Here you see the 4 topics of the challenges. I think that is the one topic that we basically should be discussing a lot in the next 2 days, is really to make this a user conference, to discuss how we can move from just ticking the box and having your data valid and have it available in the geoportal to actually make it useful for people that want to use it. We've heard last week some discussions, presentations from colleagues in the EA and in Eurostat and in JRC about how we are trying now to actually use the data that is being made available more and more in the Inspire infrastructure to actually build applications, to build pan-European data sets that can be used to support policy making, that can be used to support decisions. So basically we're trying to actually do all these things that we're basically set out to do with the Inspire infrastructure. And we're seeing that we're struggling, there's things that work well, but things that are still need to be improved. So I'd really encourage you to basically take the usability and the usefulness of the infrastructure as one of the topics to be discussed over the next few days. And I think the challenges, and that's why I'm quite happy that actually this idea has made it into the program, to basically have a number of challenges where people actually have tried to use the data. And I hope you tell us all the things that are still not yet working about Inspire, so we hear from you. Let me close with a little bit of a bigger picture. As you know, we have a new commission lined up that will take office probably 1st of December with the president-elect Ursula von der Leyen. And she put out in her speech to the Parliament the main priorities of the incoming Commission. And there's 6 main priorities, among them a new Green Deal for Europe, as well as a Europe fit for the digital age. And that includes priorities such as making Europe the first climate-neutral continent in the world, but also to use the digital transformation and to use digital transformation in a safe way to help humans address our societal challenges. So there's big topics, let's say, that we're addressing. And one of the things that we're basically going to be looking at is artificial intelligence. It's a big topic, and the Commission will put forward a legal framework to use AI in a human way and in an ethical way. So that's one of the big topics that I think that we also will have to address as well in the coming years. But at the same time, we also need to have the data that is basically providing inputs to AI, to better government, to better decision making. And that has been recognized not only in the geospatial domain, but widely across the Commission in a number of different policy areas. And one of the things that will be happening as part of the new multi-annual financial framework is a new program called Digital Europe. There will be a funding program to actually set up, create what's being called data spaces in a number of different sectors that will support AI applications, but will also support other policy areas. And part of that bigger story is also the new Open Data Directive that you may be familiar with, that is setting out this idea of the high-value data sets in a number of areas, where geospatial is one, meteorological data, statistical data are others. So basically, it's really our domains that are really being recognized as relevant reference data for this new vision of supporting big societal questions, big policy areas with the necessary data and evidence to have them implemented. So I will leave you with that bigger picture to start thinking about how we can get out of our geospatial box and how we can basically support bigger use cases, uses actually of the infrastructure. And with that, I invite you again to discuss, experiment, play, and enjoy these few days here in the epicenter in Helsinki. Thank you very much.